Hello, everyone, and welcome to another AMA hosted by Unicast. So I'm Benoit, and today we are diving into a very trending topic about how to use AI to further your skills and career. So whether you are a developer, marketer, or nearly every job category, AI is changing the way we work. So joining us today is Jan Hanken, co-founder of ChainsAtlas, a blockchain platform focused on seamless cross-chain interoperability. So hi Jan, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Jan has a deep experience into the blockchain and Web3 space, and he'll be sharing today his insight on how AI is influencing careers, skill building, and also dive more into technical details if we have technical questions as well. So for those who are new here, a quick intro about Unicast. We are the first Web3 job board fully integrated with Telegram, connecting talents with leading projects. So we've helped over 120 Web3 companies finding the right talent and have built a growing community of plus 20K professionals. So as always, this AMA will be recorded. So don't worry if you miss any part. You can catch up later. Feel free to drop as well your question in the chat. We'll get as many covered in the next 30 minutes. So Jan, welcome again. Before we jump into the AI discussion, could you introduce yourself a bit and how you got into the whole blockchain industry?
Sure, happy to. So I, at some point in my life, studied physics. Never really went into academia, but worked with big corporates as consultant for 10, 15 years. Um, Companies like Volkswagen, Microsoft, Siemens, all the beauty of corporate environments you can imagine. Not really my kind of environment, though. A bit too rigid, a bit too process driven, not really flexible, not really innovative, even though I always worked in innovation projects. Therefore, I started my own consultancy, which turned into a product startup, which was already, you wouldn't call it AI at the time. You would say data analytics, machine learning, but it was basically around industrial data analytics. So a lot of big size deal, low frequency kind of business. Um, that got a bit complicated throughout COVID, and I personally decided to hand this over to a new team and did a few projects. And through that I stumbled upon a technology that is now basically the core technology of what we're doing, the interoperability part, where we basically enable people to develop smart contracts that are truly chain agnostic. You can develop in Python for an Ethereum, for an EVM chain. You can develop in Solidity for a WASM-based chain like Solana or Near Protocol. Um, yeah, that's in essence where it started, to really a project of mine where we were asked to help with certain things. I don't want to dive deeper into that. And I self was drawn into Web3 through that. So my expertise in AI and machine learning is probably a lot deeper, or not, maybe not deeper, but longer standing than my Web3 knowledge. But yeah, we have been working in Web3 and on this protocol ever since as a B2B kind of solution, but now have, through the advent of AI, our CTO is a data scientist and very respected in the AI community. And we use AI for a while to help our solution to be more efficient. And now we are coming up with a layer one that enables you to create AI agents that then will be deployed on chain, that really exist on chain, true ownership of those agents by whoever created them. And they obviously have access to our interoperability solution. So you can ask your agent to do things on all other chains, and it will be able to do so, create smart contracts, trade for you, invest for you, post things on social media, whatever you can imagine. That's in a nutshell what my background is and what we are doing. And again, thanks for having me on this call.
That's great. Thank you for the intro. So for people who are new to the space or not very technical, what's the main issue that ChainsAtlas is facing, and what's your long-term vision for ChainsAtlas in the coming years?
Mm. There are two things. The main problem we are solving is that if you want to, for a long time now already, for about 2 years, that if you want to develop for blockchain, you need to choose a chain. You need to work then on code that is specific to that chain. And then you're pretty much locked in on that chain. With ChainsAtlas, you don't have to do that. You can develop your solution and deploy it to whatever chain you choose. You can stay with a programming language that you're familiar with if you're not a Web3 native person. And you can deploy things that you usually couldn't deploy on an incompatible chain, a chain that works with a different technology. With us, you can do it without having to alter your code. I've worked with layer ones, layer twos like Ripple, um, Stellar, various EVM chains, so Ethereum compatible chains. And yeah, we are expanding our offering in that front on a daily basis. The second thing that we are now solving is that we enable AI to do exactly that as well, and that you can deploy and create AI solutions, AI agents that you can relatively independent from you fulfill tasks that you ask them to fulfill. And we enable to do that on chain. Why you would want to do it on chain is that you don't rely on someone like OpenAI or Google to actually own the AI model and run it for you. But you rather run it yourself on a blockchain that's decentralized. You have true ownership of it. It's self-custodial. All the things you would go to Web3 to blockchain for, you have now also for AI. So a little bit what Ethereum did for Bitcoin, where suddenly you had this decentralized financial instrument in Bitcoin. Now suddenly you could deploy any software that you can think of in the same fashion on a blockchain. That's where DeFi started. And now you can do the same with AI. You can deploy your own AI models. They're truly yours and decentralized, no middleman. Same thing Ethereum did at the time for software, we are doing for AI.
Okay, so when did you guys really started introducing AI tools or working with AI or looking into compatibility with AI agents? For example, is it relatively recent or was it
Mhm.
already, were you already thinking about it when you were
Mm.
co-founding ChainsAtlas?
We already had a long term vision, but we thought the technology is still too far out. We have always been using AI internally for what we're doing to help us do and build that interoperability solution better and faster. But we realized about 4 to 5 months ago that this work we did internally is very efficient, very lean, and enables what I just described. And so we made a decision to not only benefit ourselves from it, but make it available for the public. And so now we are building that chain. There will be a testnet coming out in a few weeks. I encourage all of you to join our community to stay up to date on when things happen. And there will be a mainnet later this year. Um, yeah, so that's basically where we're standing at the moment.
Okay, that's a lot of things on your roadmap. Are you personally as well using AI tools on a personal side? Like, are you already using it, for example, for writing emails, brainstorming, or others? Or do you still just want to have it working with your processes at ChainsAtlas, basically, on a professional side?
So I'm a lazy person, right? And I like to do a lot of things. You know me quite a bit by now. So I'm traveling a lot. I do a lot of things. Um, and ChainsAtlas demands me to do a lot of things at once. My use of AI is in so far a little bit limited that a lot of my activities evolve around business development and fundraising, which is a lot of in-person relationship building. But having said that, to sort the contacts I make, to identify good leads, to just wrap up calls are made. Um, all of that is nowadays AI. And I think I couldn't do my job nearly as efficiently without it. So yes, I do.
Interesting.
But the rest of the team is probably using it even more. Like on the development side, nothing works without AI these days. Funny enough, the UI for our solution that's upcoming now, where you basically in a few clicks can create your own AI agent, is under development. And we have been looking to hire a front end developer. But due to the fact that this very same AI model is basically creating its own UI, and there are only minor touches needed to make it work technically, and these minor touches become less and less with every iteration,
Hmm.
it could be done with our existing developer staff. So talking about staffing, I think the role of a lot of development jobs are shifting from really developing, hands-on development, code writing, to supervision of these tools, to choosing the right tools, and basically quality assurance. That's a trend we internally have observed and also see it with our clients.
Okay. And so could you give a few names of example about your current tech stack? So whether it is for automation, AI agents, is it things that you are developing yourself internally, or are you using big tools already for this,
It's a bit of
like Claude or
both.
GPT?
Of course, I mean, everybody uses ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini. I mean, we are on the Google Workspace internally, so Gemini is one of the tools we're using for sure. Those more generalized AI models, definitely. They're using a model for lead generation and lead screening. I'm still choosing which one is the best, and I honestly don't have the list of names on the top of my head right now here in Hong Kong. Happy to provide that tech stack a little bit later if it helps. But yeah, as we have a lot of this in-house and our own models are actually in many ways superior to what you get publicly. A lot of what I just described, like creating that UI, that's in-house models. That's something wouldn't be available for the public just yet.
Yeah. So many developers or technical people are already using those tools when it comes to coding, but they are
Yeah, it's
not
it's
very
basically
very famous tool yet for BD and
yeah,
salespeople really yet.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I just wanted to say for software, I mean, something like Copilot has been around for a while. There are various solutions out there. They're not as advanced, but they already automate a lot of the really mundane coding part. And for business development, yeah, it's not that. I think part of it is that the people using it, like business developers or marketing people, they're just not yet as familiar with using AI technologies as some
Yeah,
others would be, like a tech person would be. But there is a lot of solutions coming up. A lot of them in a very early stage. So I really don't yet know which ones are the good ones.
yeah, because basically when a developer is using AI for coding, people cannot really see if the code is made by AI, but when uh, you are outreached by a business development person or a salesperson, usually you can really tell if they are using tools like that to write their email or to write their outreach messages. So
Yeah.
it's a bit more tweak, a bit harder to to use those tools for that.
Yes and no. The technology is really evolving so fast that a lot of that. I mean, there's a concept of Turing completeness, not Turing completeness, of the Turing test, right? The Turing test would mean that I interact with the artificial intelligence and I cannot tell the difference to a real person. Obviously, we are not really there yet, but in a narrow space where I just get one message. Now, with the advent of AI agents, you have the ability to upload all your emails and have this model really trained on your own email history and act very similar like you would write an email. So that has become less of an issue nowadays. to be honest. It's not
Oh,
that
do you have
obvious
the name
anymore.
of this tool, or is it
Again, there's a bunch out there. This is something we have done ourselves internally. I haven't used it yet, so we'll see. But what I've seen from the test, it's quite convincing. But I
just
know
go,
there are
yeah, happy
others
if you have
working on the same.
afterwards resources or to share about that we could share with the community.
Yeah, sure. I can see what I can share and who else is working on it. Again, that's a little bit of a pity that because we're using a lot of our own tech for doing these things. So I'm not that familiar what else is available on the free market, but I am happy to do some research and let you know.
That's
We're
great.
trying a
And
few
so
external products as well, though.
on another subject, what's your opinion on people using AI tools when it comes to the the job process, applying for jobs or for interviews? Are you or did you face issue already with that, that you need
Mm,
to do more screening when it comes to the recruitment of technical on technical roles, for example?
yes, absolutely. So about a half a year ago, we had to hire. I think it was a C developer. I don't quote me on it, but a very specific developer for a very specific job. And yeah, we had one specific question, which turned out to be a bit difficult to answer by ChatGPT at the time. And I would say 90% of the answers, because it's a tricky question, it's not something that you would just know as a beginning stage, junior stage developer. Um, we had 90% were the expected ChatGPT answer. Very much phrased also in a way that you would expect from ChatGPT. And only a fraction was either wrong or the expected reply. So ChatGPT still has problems with ambiguity, right? So we framed this a little bit in a way that you, as a human, probably know what we are looking for, but it could be easily misunderstood as something not easy to interpret by ChatGPT. And yeah, we had 90% definitely that was in all likelihood AI, which is an issue, yes.
Yes, yeah. We've had a few people telling us that they need to do even more screening,
Yes.
and that sometime like before AI, it wasn't the case. For example, they could do all the interview completely online, but now they also have to meet the person actually to be sure that they aren't using AI tools on the side when they are doing interview process.
The other thing is, I mean, you want them to be able to use AI, right? So you want to have a combination out of, okay, this is fine to be answered by using Copilot or whatever you're using. Um, but then you have questions where you really have to state, okay, this, please answer this without the help of AI. And then you need to
Yeah,
figure out how you actually identify if it was used or not. So you want to know, is that person actually knowledgeable enough in its field, in his or her field? Um, and on the other hand, you want to know, is that person capable of using AI? Because if they don't, then they also have a competitive disadvantage, right? I give you an example. We had a technical writer, uh, and as on probation, she did a really good job, but we gave her some challenging tasks that were not quite down the avenue of what she usually would do. And we asked her for certain tasks to use AI because AI would probably
yeah.
level the playing field there and give her the pieces she needed. And I think it's also a thing of pride where it looks like she did not use AI because she would come up with new iterations that were obviously interpretations of herself of this text. And yeah, so it's a dilemma in a way that you want to see people using AI when to fill some of the
Mhm.
gaps that don't usually could that easily themselves, but you also want them in control of the core task enough to understand what's happening, right? And to strike that balance isn't easy. I completely agree.
Yeah. And so for people who would like to start using AI tools to be more productive on the jobs, there are like really a ton of tools. Would you have like practical tips on how they should start? For example, like if they are not very like if they are just entering into this like the for example, if they only know GPT, for example,
Mm,
what would you advise on that side?
get really used to GPT first, or whatever other popular tool you're using, because they're the most powerful models out there, the most general models out there. So if you are able to use them well, everything else will be, in all likelihood, easier. The other thing that you need to be aware of is figure out how to use AI not only as a one-trick pony, not only to get some text out of it. ChatGPT itself has
Hmm.
so many functions right now that you can use into like you can call image generation out of the text generator. You can um, generate code out of it and then have it research certain things. Um, Having these things, these tools used in a way that they assist each other as well, and you basically build a system of agents that can really fulfill a specific task. Like you would build a company, you have certain roles you need to fill, and they fulfill their specific tasks. You can do the same with AI. So that's the next step, I think, of where the really advanced users will make a huge productivity jump, because you can really automate not only a single task, but a whole operation, right? You can, there are claims by people out there that their hedge fund or venture capital fund that's driven by AI agents outperforms actual VCs out there. How these metrics are measured, I'm a bit skeptical, but it shows you that you can replace a relatively complex operation with AI nowadays, and this will become more prevalent. It's not like this going away. So especially as a leader, if you run a business, you need to be aware of these things. And if you can do things, especially in software development, one really good developer is delivering things nowadays in a few days that usually you would have a whole team develop for a month. And if you're not making
Mm.
use of that competitive advantage that brings you, the productivity advantage that brings to you, your competition will outcompete you. So those are the things I would really pay attention to when you want to get more and more into using this. And having said all this, most, especially SMEs out there, small business enterprises and companies, make minimal to no use of AI at the moment. And the productivity of their business could be increased significantly by doing so. So in the end, the first early adopters that actually start using it will, in all likelihood, outcompete the rest very quickly. So
Do you
it's worth
think there
looking
is
at it.
a danger as well to become too reliant on those tools? Sometimes they break down, for example, GPT, although it will become rarer, I guess. But how do you deal with that, for example, if your whole process is stopped, for example, because an AI broke down or an AI
Yeah,
agent is off?
I have a bit of a probably controversial opinion on this. I'm running businesses, or I'm involved in teams um, for pretty much all my professional life. And I would argue the likelihood of a human having sudden issues and not performing properly and producing maybe subpar results is just as high. So I don't see
Mm.
that as an argument against AI, to be very honest, because as long as it works, the for what it does, it's probably more efficient and faster. Not saying it will replace humans. I'm just saying that humans will need to find other niches and need to operate on a in a different fashion than they're used to. It's the nature of the beast. I mean, that's always been the case, and it's a bit interesting that more technical jobs are now also involved in this. Um, but it just means you can be more creative in what you do. A lot of the mundane jobs you do are taken away from you. And you can do things you couldn't usually do before in that amount of time. And that would be cost prohibitive because it just takes too much resources and too much time. So it's easy to be afraid of these technologies.
Yeah.
But history has proven that fighting against it usually is not really helping you in the long run. Or we would still have horses to go through the city, or uh, like if all the horse farms would have lobbied against the car, it's just not happening. You know, that's my opinion on it.
So are you guys, by the way, hiring at ChainsAtlas? If we have any of our listeners that would be interested in what you guys are doing and would want to join you?
We do. As a matter of fact, I think our marketing head was reaching out to you earlier today, if I remember correctly, about a
Yeah.
job. Yeah, we're hiring. We just hired a community manager, and we're still looking for two moderators for our community in European time zone that includes Africa, and in American time zone, which includes South America. We are looking for a
That's
blockchain
great.
developer, Solidity developer for a client project, and I'm sure we look for more people that I'm not that I wouldn't know about right now. But yeah, we have a few job postings out.
That's great. Yeah, we'll be able to post
Content.
all
We're
that
also
on
looking
the
for a
job board.
content
Awesome.
writer. Um, so that's also an interesting thing. Like you hire a content writer, and you expect a lot of the actual content to be AI generated, but then you still need somebody for the quality assurance to orchestrate everything,
Yes.
right? So yeah, we're looking for a content writer as well, or content manager rather.
So y- you are currently as well in Hong Kong for Consensus.
Yeah.
What are the best or innovative AI use case in crypto, blockchain, or Web3 that you are seeing these days?
And Web3, it's still very meme dominated. A lot of the AI use cases you
Yeah,
see are still evolving around memes, basically AI chatbots, somewhat more sophisticated chatbots that chat memes. Um, but you see more and more actual utility coming. That is happening a lot on the. I mean, there's been quant trading for a while, algorithmic trading, but now you can actually tell a chat AI agent, please do trade under these conditions. This is my risk appetite. This is how much I want you to put in on a monthly basis. Those are the assets I would like you to look at. Um, Investment. I find the right DeFi protocol for me. Again, this is my risk appetite. This is the return of investment I'm looking for. Things that if you do them manually will take you a lot of time, and most people don't have the time. So that is another use
yeah,
case that's definitely coming up. But it's really hard to see where the main use case will in the end turn out to be, particularly in Web3. Along those lines, we actually will release a little bit of a hackathon in a few days where we are asking our community and pretty much anyone else out there, if you had the ability to, with a few clicks, create an AI agent, as you will have in our solution soon, what would be the first AI agent you create? And the best 10 ideas get all the gas fees waived, get support from our tech team, and we help them build it. So that's
that's
pretty
great.
exciting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
happy
happy
to
to
share
share
those
the word on
results.
that as
Yeah,
well. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it would
yeah,
be great. I'll send you the links once they are there, and if you want to maybe um, post it to your community, that would be amazing. And obviously, we would share the
for sure.
results, and that will, I think, give some inspiration to others. But it's very early. It's very, very early, and it's very
Yeah.
exciting because you see so many ideas. One of our advisors, for example, he's planning to put out a AI agent as a DJ. Right, that guy will,
Wow.
or that AI agent will then play music according to it learns is currently the thing that the audience it's mainly playing it to its own community is interested in. So there are so many use cases. It's amazing.
So we are reaching the end of this AMA. Do you have any last or practical tips for people who are looking to get into the Web3 or the blockchain space, as you are a founder
Mm.
in this space as well?
It's interesting. We have that discussion a lot internally because we are basically a tech company first. We are not a classic Web3 company, so half our staff is not really native Web3. Um, I think if you really want to get in an industry, it depends a little bit on what you want to do. If you want to stay on the tech side, and if that's your background, find a nice infrastructure protocol, something more tech oriented, and see if you can maybe find an internship or some kind of one job in there, and whatever your role would be, and get a feel for it. If you are more interested in the financial side, maybe the more degen side of Web3, meaning more the higher risk place. I mean, the only way to really get into this is doing it. You need to expose
Mm.
yourself, play around, get a wallet, try a few things, be prepared to lose some money, be prepared to maybe make some money. But if you're not exposed to it, it's such a um, unique scene and a unique field. I think you wouldn't be able to break in if you are not really part of it to a degree. But if that's not for you, just go find an interesting tech company that uses blockchain or that works in blockchain that creates a block like what we do. You don't need to be a Web3 degen to be a huge value to the company, right? And by virtue of being there, you will eventually also learn more and more Web3 space through our partners, through the part of the company that is more Web3 degen, because you need those people as well, because that's a big audience that you tailor to as well. Like if we have putting out our blockchain and people create AI agents on it, a lot of them will be Web3 native, right? So by virtue of those interactions, you will eventually also learn more about it. So this is the best tip I can give you. But be prepared. It's a bit of a journey. It's not happening from now to tomorrow. It takes a bit of time, but that's fine.
That's great. Well, big thanks to you, Jan, for sharing your tips and insights.
Always.
So, you guys, if you enjoyed this session, here's how you can stay connected. Do follow us on X, of course, for futures AMAs, job opportunities, and career insight. We have also, as well, of course, the job board to explore latest Web3 roles and connect with top companies. So, do check out ChainsAtlas and their work. We'll be sharing the socials and as well their openings if you guys are interested to join them. So thanks, Jan. Do you have any final closing words?
Nah, just go out there, do it, and you'll be fine. And yeah, if you're interested in one of the positions, please do apply. And if you have any questions, feel free to post it somewhere, and I'm happy to provide some answers within reason. Okay,
That's perfect. All
Johan,
right.
thanks a lot.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye
We'll
bye.
be back soon with more AMAs featuring industry experts. So stay tuned. And thanks for everyone for joining us today. And see you next time. Bye bye. Cheers.